when I first started going out after my diagnosis and going out for lunch, going out for tea, things like that, I was very nervous. I felt very uncomfortable that I had to ask these questions. Welcome to the Healthy Celiac Show. I'm your host, Belinda Whelan from belindawhelan.com, and here you will learn to live your very best life with celiac disease. So we are going to be talking all about health-related topics because you, my friend, are more than just a woman with celiac disease. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss an episode, and welcome to the show. Living with celiac disease and going out to restaurants and cafes to enjoy a meal or, a morning tea or just a coffee and cake can be a very anxious time for us with celiac disease. So if you are struggling and feel like you'd rather just stay home because it's safer and easier, today's episode is for you because I want to help you put things into perspective, because so many people miss out on enjoying life because they are scared. They are constantly worried that they're going to get glutened, and they build up the anxiety and they feel terrible. Now, when you live with anxiety, it can cause so many other issues, and you can actually make yourself sick from being anxious all the time. So for some people, it's just easier to avoid those situations. But I personally don't think that's any way to live. I think that there are many opportunities to be able to go out and enjoy different restaurants, different cafes, hanging out with friends, enjoying the company of loved ones, even popping out with some work colleagues. So today, let's talk about some interesting other situations that might just put this into perspective for you. So I was laying in bed the other night, and I don't know why I was thinking about this podcast episode, but it just got me thinking about, we wouldn't really live our lives to their fullest if every situation where we could possibly hurt ourselves, we avoided it. And that's what got me thinking that we shouldn't really be avoiding these situations, because for me personally, I have been eating out since my diagnosis. I have traveled the world. I have never really let it hold me back that I've got celiac disease, because I don't think that I want to be that person that lets celiac disease define me. Yes, it's a major part of me, and it's important to live my very healthiest life and be gluten-free and avoid cross-contamination. However, I don't want to avoid life as well. So what I was thinking about the other night was cars. Okay, so every single day that you get in a car, whether you're a passenger, whether you're the driver, you put yourself in a situation where things could change very, very quickly. You could be in a car accident in a matter of seconds. You could have your life taken away from you. You could be injured. A loved one could be injured. It is just part of being in a motor vehicle. It's just one of those things that you have to have trust in yourself. You have to have trust in the other people that are on the road to make sure that they keep you safe and to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. So let's compare that to celiac disease. So let's just say you go out for a meal and you think, no, I can't do it. I'm not going. Then you miss that opportunity. Just the same as if you were going in a car. Nope, someone might crash into me. Nope, I can't do it. So you avoid that situation. So you're either avoiding getting hit by a car or you're avoiding getting knocked out by gluten. Do you know what I mean? Does that sound like it makes sense? So basically, they're very different situations, aren't they? They're completely different. However, this is the reality of it. Just because you go out for a meal doesn't mean you're guaranteed, no matter what, you're going to have gluten. Just like when you go in a car, you can't guarantee that you're going to get hit by a car. It's a very rare situation. Me personally, I have been driving a car since I very first got my license at the age of 17, my full P license, which here in Australia is a probationary license. So I've been able to drive without an adult in the car with me since I was 17. I'm currently 41. So I've been on the road for quite some time. And during that time, I've had one car accident that wasn't my fault. I was driving to my mum's house and I was turning at a roundabout, and another young girl came out of nowhere and smashed into the side of my car. It was completely her fault. So I've also been out for meals where I've accidentally been glutened. But that, again, very, very rare situations. So, you can't avoid these things 100%. However, when you put it in perspective like that, out of all the times that I would have been out for meals during, the past however many years it's been well over a decade now, there would have been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times that I've been out for meals. And of those times, I've only been accidentally glutened a couple of times. It has been a very rare situation. And it's been accidental. It's been, probably in the very early days when I haven't explained myself well enough and haven't asked the right questions. So these days, I certainly ask better questions than I used to ask in the early days. And I'm much more confident in the way that I ask for what I need. Now, the thing is as well, when we go out for meals, we don't have to just eat what's on the menu. So you might be going and thinking, oh my God, all I get the option of is this salad or, steak and vegetables, or, the options that are given to you on the menu that state gluten-free are very, very limited. So you don't always have to have just what's on that menu. As a paying customer, you have the right to ask for what you want. So I'll give you an example. My husband and I, we went out the other day and we had some lunch, and I really felt like something that was on the menu. So it was basically a Buddha bowl. And if you've never heard of a Buddha bowl, they can be a different mix of many different foods. So usually there's a grain in there of some kind, such as rice or quinoa, and then there'll be vegetables in there, whether they're cooked or whether they're raw. So for example, it might even have some just diced up tomatoes, some avocado, there might be some roasted chickpeas, lots of different things. Anyway, they pop it all in a bowl. It's all in little sections. It's very neat and delicious. And on the menu, it didn't have gluten-free. It didn't even say gluten-free available, but I really wanted this meal and I wanted to know what was in it that wasn't gluten-free because from what I could see on the actual menu, it didn't sound like anything in it would have gluten in it. My only guess was that it was actually in the dressing. So when my husband ordered for me, he went up and he stated that I was celiac and asked what was with the Buddha bowl that made it not gluten-free. So the girl that was serving him, she went and asked the chef and came back and said it was actually the couscous that was in the Buddha bowl. So he requested that they made the Buddha bowl without the couscous. He confirmed that it was cooked to be safe for me, and he also confirmed that the dressing was safe, because this is another area that some chefs and cooks don't think about. They just think about other areas of your meal. So you always need to check with your dressings and your sauces and your gravies. And they were able to make me a Buddha bowl that was safe and gluten-free, and it was absolutely amazing. And I walked away from there feeling nourished. I walked away from there feeling loved and looked after and really well cared for. And, I didn't feel woe is me. I didn't feel left out. I didn't feel neglected. I didn't feel like I was a bother or that it was an issue. So we need to get over ourselves a little bit and realize that, we are people. We have rights. We have every opportunity to go out and live our very best lives and enjoy the meals that we want to enjoy. So please know that you are not alone. Please know that the more that you do this, the easier it gets. when I first started going out after my diagnosis and going out for lunch, going out for tea, things like that, I was very nervous. I felt very uncomfortable that I had to ask these questions. And sometimes I would try and fob it off to my husband or my mum to ask the questions. But it got to the point where I did it so often that it just became second nature. And I think it's like anything. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So if you're avoiding going out, I urge you to start practicing. I urge you to arm yourself with the right questions, with the confidence and the knowledge that you need to be able to ask of your server, of your waitress, of the chef, exactly what you need. Now, I have traveled to many different countries since being diagnosed, and some of those, well, actually most of those countries were non-English speaking countries, and I still managed to make it work. There was only one country where I struggled, and I lived on the same food for about 5 days, but I got through it. And from that, I learnt my lesson of what I needed to do to make my experiences better. Now, over the years, I've made plenty of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I think we all learn from our mistakes. And I think we just make things better from those mistakes and we move past that and we empower ourselves to be better at what we do as far as ordering out. Now, if you have not checked out my program, which is Ultimate Celiac System, I cover off this and a ton more to help you eat out and to travel and know exactly what you need to ask. So please check out Ultimate Celiac System so that you can have the knowledge and the confidence that you need to travel and to eat well. So I will pop a link below for that. But in the meantime, the best thing that you can do for yourself is go out there. Start small. Start somewhere where you feel comfortable with. Start with friends and family that make you feel comfortable and order and find out what you need to know to be able to get that food that is safe for you and build your confidence muscle, because that's what it comes down to. So I hope that helps you. And if you have any questions at all or any feedback, please let me know for sure over at my Instagram account. You can send me a DM and I'll pop a link to that below. And you can also subscribe to my email list if you would like to keep in touch with any latest recipes that I share or any different little bits of information and keep up to date with my weekly podcast. You can do that over at belindawhelan.com and I'll also pop a link to that below. So thanks so much for tuning in. I really hope that this helps you out. And of course, I love to hear back from you guys. So any questions, any feedback, let me know. And if there's a topic that you would like me to cover off on a podcast episode for you, just let me know, because anything that you guys want to learn, I'm more than happy to share with you and learn about with you guys as well. So thanks for tuning in and I'll talk to you again next week. Take care. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, head to belindawhelan.com to get yourself a free copy of my exclusive ebook, 11 Mistakes People Make Going Gluten-Free Living with Celiac Disease.